Whilst I've been away, Andy's been at it with the drill, making 100 holes in the flanges of the jacket, which we hope will line up perfectly with the holes in the old firebox. But we won't really know if it all lines up until we put the firebox inside and try and bolt it all together.
Right, Claire, let's just drop this down over here.
So I'll patent new and improved lifting device.
Well, this makes it a bit easy to lift it because it's hard to sling it square without something actually gripped on it. So tighten the band on there. You don't particularly want it dropping off halfway.
There's 50 holes on the top of this boiler and 50 on the bottom. If Andy's drilled just one of them in the wrong position, then this lot's not going to go together, and all that wonder work on the flange will be for nothing.
At this stage, I can't remember what stud goes where.
Well,
Never mind.
You're learning, Andy. I mean, you've not been in this game for very long.
Right. That goes there.
Right. Second time lucky.
Okay, back down again, Lee. Up again, Lee. Down.
We've got 50 holes on the outer wrapper, we've got 50 holes on the firebox, and we've got to get them all lined up. Let's face it, it was never going to work first time. Nope. Looks like it's in the wrong position again. That one's there.
We've got to start again, really.
Well, should we block it up then?
Yeah.
Third time lucky. This time, it looks like we're almost there, but it's still going to take some persuading. Fingers crossed.
Spot on. Nothing's stopping us.
Typical. All that measuring and remeasuring, and all it needed in the end was brute force and ignorance.
Yeah.
I know from the outside it probably doesn't look very much, but just think back. There's 200 holes here, all that measuring, the drawing, actually getting it to fit. It's a minor miracle of engineering. With Andy celebrating the union of the two halves with a quick pint, I'm left on my own to tighten up the 100 bolts that will keep this boiler from blowing half of Shrewsbury into the next county. Next morning, I'm up with the larks and heading north again to Hollyoaks, the coach builders, to give our new cab a nice abrasive stroke. The last time I saw it, the cab frame was in bits, but Bob's been working hard. All those jigsaw pieces of mahogany are now in place.
Okay.
Right. And although all that knuckle-scraping sanding work goes against the grain, the results are worth all the hard graft. The rear of the cab is practically finished. That looks really good, Bob.
That's somewhere near now. Yeah.
That mahogany across the top.
Yeah, that's
wonderful.
ideal. Yeah.
Bit more to do, though.
Yeah, a lot more to do, Claire. A lot more to do.
The next job on the list is making a new front apron. The old one looks okay at first glance, but the rust moths are beginning to eat it away at the bottom, so it may as well be done now.
It's starting to get up into the metal, so I think the best thing we can do is mark it out on a new panel, cut it out, and fit the new panel. And then we've got a brand new cab.
Without the plans to this part of the steam lorry, the old apron comes in useful as a template for the new one. Oh, that's all right, Bob. You've got the rough shape cut out.
As Claire snips into the elegant curves of the Sentinel's cab, it feels like we're really getting the edge on this restoration. But there's a long way to go yet.
The cab's ready to assemble, so I've brought the Sentinel down to Andy's to fit the new boiler. Go on then, Andy. Head on down. As we didn't take the boiler out, we don't really know how difficult it is to get back in.
It might. We'll give it one go, but I'm not very optimistic that it'll go. Lovely.
But with a jiggle and a poke or two, it fits like a glove.
Brilliant. It's a tight fit, isn't it?
Yeah.
And now we can get on with plumbing everything up.
There. No, that's the plug. That's the top.
It's awkward.
Do for that one.
Now we've got the boiler in, Bob and I can begin riveting on the rest of the body.
Okay?
Yep.
Nice and solid.
None of your modern pop rivets here. These are traditional copper rivets. Each one needing a head bashed onto it by hand. With all this love banged in, the cab should be good for another 70 years.
Hello, Claire.
Hello, how are you?
Very well.
This is Bob, he's in charge of the coach work. This is
Nice to meet you,
Suggs.
Suggs.
Suggs always turns up at the last minute. 29,051 rivets, last 4 left. Go on, do you want to make yourself useful? You hold this.
What?
With hammer in hand, I'll show them what love is. It must be this.
Well, this is riveting, isn't it?
The rest of the bits of the cab have been pre-assembled. A bit like flat-pack furniture, except that they fit.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
It's looking good, isn't it?
Oh, it looks excellent.
I think my help has really made the difference. Look, half a day of Suggs' labour, and she's almost done. But I must away on another quest, my search for her previous owner, Edgar Schoen, the man who saved our Sentinel.
With the Ego heading north, it's time to get out the spray gun and zap the cab. This may look like British racing green, but with a top speed of 40 miles per hour, that would be silly. So the livery we've chosen is the same as the Morris oil fleet had back in the 1930s.
Great, thanks very much. Well, I've been doing a bit of detective work on Edgar Schoen, the man who saved our Sentinel from the scrap heap, and unfortunately he's passed away. But I have managed to track down his son, Jack. And I've heard that the Sentinel's been painted and it's looking particularly beautiful at the moment, so I've arranged to meet him down there so he can have a sneak preview of our handiwork. So, Jack, here we are. How does that look to you?
A little different from the last time I saw it, certainly. Oh, considerably different.
When was the last time you saw it?
Probably in the early 70s.
Yeah.
Yes, so
So
30
30.
years ago. That's right.
With her new paintwork gleaming, she looks magnificent. A fitting tribute to the man who rescued her over 50 years ago.
Must have been taken shortly after he bought this engine.
Jack's father, Edgar Schoen, had worked with Sentinel steam lorries in his haulage business in the 1930s and jumped at the opportunity to buy a Sentinel when they were being scrapped after the war. He bought our Sentinel from Paul's Brothers Flour Mills in Birkenhead in 1949 and drove it home to his pub in North London, where he completely restored it and added it to his collection.
Everyone he used to tell me had its own characteristics. I mean, I couldn't tell you what they were, but there's no doubt about it. I mean, he knew when one drove down the road which one it was. In those days, nobody wanted them. Everybody thought he was mad. I thought he was mad. I was in the queuing for the cinema, and my father drove by, and I was with my friends, and I pretended I wasn't there.
So you weren't overly enamoured by them?
They were dirty, horrible, smelly things, I thought at the time. I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And madly in love with sports cars.
Have a look in the cab.
I will.
Yeah.
Gosh, you could probably get in there and not get dirty, couldn't you?
You could now. I don't know about that one.
Which is...
Come and have a look.
yeah. Oh, gosh, you've got...
As a boy, Jack only had eyes for sports cars, but in later years, he has come to care more about the Sentinel that his father loved.
They're emotions that I only really developed, I suppose, as I grew older, realizing what I'd missed when I was young, not sharing his enthusiasm. And I suppose when you look back and your parents are gone anyway, you always think of the things you should have done and things you should have helped with. And
Yeah, I should think that's quite universal, yeah. But I suppose in this particular case,
well, it
it's a strange...
meant so much to him. He must have been one of the first collectors and restorers of these engines. I don't know if there's anyone before him, but he certainly was one of the first. And it makes him something special, doesn't it? But anyone that he knew, anyone that would talk to him about engines would, you know, would talk forever. Oh gosh. Yeah.
Well, she certainly looks the part, but we'll have to wait until tomorrow to find out if she'll run under her own steam. It's crunch time for our Sentinel steam lorry restoration. We've replaced the cab and taken on the massive task of repairing her knackered boiler. But before we can go anywhere, it has to pass a rigorous inspection. If it fails, then all our hard work will have been in vain.
I'm up early to get steam up for the boiler test. It's a very, very cold, frosty morning and it's trying to snow out there. But I can think nothing better than setting fire to a steam engine.